It's been a week. Sorry for not posting. I was on a trip and it went fairly poorly, if I do say so myself. I'm not gonna tell anybody that when they ask, but it was kind of terrible. Not gonna lie, it was kind of terrible, and I've been crying all day and all last night too. So, but I'm here. Okay, I'm back. I need to read Reddit stories to feel better. So, um, I'm gonna do that. Basically, today I thought I would read creepy Reddit stories, like scary Reddit stories of like weird things that have happened to people that have been like creepy, because I thought that that would be interesting. The first one is called Pulled in My Bed. I don't know what this means, so we're gonna continue. A few nights ago, I woke up to the feeling of something wrapping around my right big toe. Sorry, that's kind of funny. Um, as I lay there observing, it wrapped tight and yanked my foot downwards. On your toe? Okay. Before I could react, I felt a heavy slash malicious presence coming up over my legs and further up my body, hovering and causing paralysis slash inability to speak. I immediately knew what it was and began praying in my mind the Lord's prayers, and within the first sentence of the prayer it fled quickly. I turned on my lamp and slept with the lamp on for the rest of the night. I have no one to share this with because my sister and I have been playing phone tag, and she's the only one I know who would be interested. Thanks. This sounds more like sleep paralysis to me. I don't know. I don't have sleep paralysis, so I don't really know what it's like. But from the stories I've heard about sleep paralysis, this sounds like sleep paralysis. Let's look at the comments. Uh-huh. This is classic sleep paralysis. It's a well known scientific phenomenon. Someone else said, if it's malicious, which seems to be what you felt, a physic may be able to help you make it leave. A physic? Did they mean a psychic? No, it's just like a physics professor. They're like, hey, I don't know, I feel like that one wasn't that interesting. I used to work at a haunted Dollar General. I don't know about this. I used to work at a Dollar General that was 100% haunted. It was the newer one in Allegan, Michigan, right across the street from the Goodwill. I don't know where that is, but okay. Just in case anyone wants to go and check it out. I don't live anywhere close to there anymore, so I don't mind saying that. After closing, we would hear small, rapid footsteps through the aisles like a customer's kid was still running around in the store, but nobody was ever there. We would look literally everywhere before we got used to it. The first time it happened to one of our new key holders, she got so spooked she actually called the police, and they came and couldn't find anything either. We would be in the cash office counting the deposit, and we would literally watch the freezer doors occasionally open and slowly close by themselves over the security cameras. That's weird. Um, Once, when I was in the front talking to a girl about applying, we heard a steady scraping noise coming from the baby aisle to our left, and we turned to watch a nearly 2 foot long box of diapers very slowly sliding off the bottom shelf. Nobody was in the aisle. Okay, that's scary. That's weird. Like, okay, the footsteps, it could just be like, I don't know, the like air conditioning or heating system making a weird sound and then it like echoes off and sounds like footsteps, you know? Like, I guess you could say I'm more of like I try to be more realistic about stuff because I don't like getting scared of ghosts. I used to have like a crazy fear of ghosts when I was um, younger, and then I would like wake up in the middle of the night and be like terrified that a ghost was getting me. Oh, hold on, there's a hair in my mouth. How did it even get there? I'm wearing a mask. Ugh. Okay, I think I got it. That was weird. I don't know how it got in there. Okay. Where was I? I don't know. I do know some people who believe in ghosts though, but I don't personally. Um, it got to the point where only like an inch of the long box was left on the shelf, and it just kind of stayed impossibly suspended there for like a full 3 seconds before the other end finally fell to the floor. The girl I was talking to was just like, nah, and left. Okay, that's funny. And then they said, LMAO, that place was freaking crazy. I didn't even last a year before transferring specifically because of all the weird stuff that constantly happened at that store. It got to the point where I was saying stuff like, you are not welcome to follow me, I am leaving alone. before leaving every night, and then burning Palo Santo and rosemary when I got home. What's Palo Santo? Is that like a thing that I should know? I don't even think I'm pronouncing that right. Oh. So, wild South American tree whose wood is traditionally burned as an aromatic incense to clear negative energy, ease stress, and repel insects. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Well, you learned something new. Yeah, that's weird. I feel like if any store were to be haunted, it would definitely be like a Dollar Tree or a Dollar General or something. Cause like imagine it's just like there's no way like a Target would be haunted, right? Cause that's like a big chain and everything always looks so modernized there. That's creepy though. Like I feel like the footsteps and like the freezer doors, like maybe the lock wasn't like secure on the freezer door, or maybe there was like an air circulation issue, so that it wouldn't like I don't know vacuum shut or whatever, and then it would just like open or something like that. I don't know. Those things are kind of like I feel like I could explain, but the thing about the long box that seems like not physically possible. We need to get that physics professor from the last post to come check this out. We'll move on to the next one. This one's called I See Spirits and Nobody Believes Me. Hey! Hey! I've always felt different along my life. I'm a very empathetic and sensitive person, which might be the reason for all paranormal that's been happening to me. I'm also having some PTSD and I'm a trauma survivor, so that all might add to my story. For the spirits, I see humanoid shapes who doesn't have any details, no faces, no clothing. Okay, I'm guessing maybe this person doesn't have English as their first language or something. Their shape is like darker shade on TV static, if that's how I could describe it, but the thing is that I see them a lot, and the weird part of all this that I can sense how they feel. I've met happy spirits that give me sense of happiness and safety, but I've also met sad, angry ones that feel dangerous. They do not talk to me nor communicate any other way than giving me their feelings. I've met so sad ones that their sadness infect my mood as well, and I start to cry. I cannot explain this nor prove with actual evidence, which makes this hard subject that people I've told this always deny and laugh at me. I've had other paranormal events happen to me as well, earliest when I was like 8 years old. I've heard a mimic trying to lure me into forest edge, whispering my name several times. I've also 100 sure that I've been contacted and abducted by entities, which has been really traumatic experience. Okay, if you're not going to say it, I will. I think maybe this person has some like something going on. I don't know. Let me look at the comments. Someone's talking about Christianity. A lot of people are saying that they believe this person. I don't know. Oh, someone said carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah, that could be possible. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know what this person is experiencing, so I can't really say much. I really don't know about this one. Okay, well, that's it. I'll move on. This is interesting. This is called The House Lizard That Spoke. Hello, peeps. What is with the greetings? Hey! Back with another story from the West Bengal. This is a strange, strange story that I had the opportunity to collect from an elderly person in our ancestral village. This story is from rural West Bengal, India. Okay, this is kind of cool actually. Um, the village falls under Burdwan district, name of a district. Also, sorry if I'm pronouncing any of this wrong. Even today, with concrete roads and 24/7 electricity, there are areas within the village that gives an eerie feeling. This is a story dating back to 1990s. Electricity was a luxury, and the village was stuck in mid 1900s, it seems. In the area where my ancestral house is located, just a few yards from there, a woman, she was 60s at the time, used to live alone. She used to work as a maid and used to survive on her own meager source. On one such evening, when I had happened to visit her house with my cousin, I remember her asking us to sit and gave us narkal naru coconut candy. Again, don't know how to pronounce this, to eat. There is one thing that she told us, pretty clear that I remember her words. When we asked her how she copes with loneliness, she told us about a house lizard that used to stay in her room. The lizard apparently was able to communicate with her in a human voice, and that's how she could talk and live. When my cousin smirked and said that she was trying to fool us, she called the name of the lizard in the almost dark evening. A clear sound of lizards clicking reached our ears. The lizard apparently made its presence felt. She smirked. There's a lot of smirking going on in this story. I'm just imagining everyone like I can't do it because my mask is on, but like just everyone like slyly smirking at each other. She smirked and told the name of the lizard, which to be honest I don't remember. She told us that the lizard used to go out, look at the surroundings of what people did during the day, and then used to chat with her at night. Interesting. We left and I never returned back to her house. Currently, the house stands demolished and a proper concrete two-story house stands. Someone else bought it after she left for heaven. Again, this might be nothing. She might have been schizophrenic. She might have been joking with us, but the truth in her eyes told she was not. She had little reason to joke around at the age of 60 plus. Whatever it might have been, thought of sharing this. This might be nothing. This might be something unexplained and paranormal. Interesting. So this is kind of like a folklore type of thing. There's no comments on this, so I can't really see what other people think. But that's very interesting. I don't know. It kind of reminds me, I talked about Geico in one of these videos, and it makes me, my mind goes immediately to that, to like the little lizard, in the commercials. And like just that, imagine it's just him. I don't know if you has anyone here seen Hoppers? I don't know. Well, leave a comment if you've seen Hoppers. I saw Hoppers, and it was like weirdly, I felt like the plot was like really far-fetched, but somehow it just like ended up working. It ended up being like a wholesome movie, and I was just kind of like, this is enjoyable. I liked it. But it reminds me of that too. My nephew saw something we couldn't. It's always the kids, isn't it? Well, I don't know if this is a child, but usually when I hear the word nephew, I think of like a child. But I feel like it's always the children who can see like paranormal stuff, or it seems that way. I don't know. After a spirit box session, I saw a giant white orb the size of a basketball outside. During this, my 4-year-old nephew was following something in the room with his eyes on the wall, and then followed it with his head to the ceiling. Keep in mind, he wasn't home at the time of the spirit box session, so he wasn't influenced. I don't know what a spirit box session is. I'll have to look that up when I finish reading this. He then got really scared and sat down with his mother. He said he saw a light and fingers. He was absolutely terrified in the moment and didn't want to talk about it at first. Then he looked at something again and used his fingers and said, "There's a tiny baby." This time he wasn't afraid. He then pointed up and said, "The light is up." This all happened while he was just watching TV. I don't know what to make of all this, but it was bizarre to say the least, and I don't believe in coincidences. That's creepy. That's really creepy. I don't know. I feel like it's always the kids who can see stuff. But like, then it's kind of hard to like tell if it's real, right? Because a lot of the time, a lot of kids have like imaginary friends, and like I know I had imaginary friends. Actually, when I was a child, I had an imaginary friend, and it was a window. I know that sounds strange, but my imaginary friend was a window that walked around, and we had really fun time together. Okay, what is a spirit box session? Let me look this up. Spirit box session. Spirit box session is a paranormal investigation technique using a radio frequency scanner. Investigators believe spirits manipulate this white noise to speak brief words or phrases. Interesting. I've never heard of this before either. I feel like every time I hop on Reddit, I like learn some new vocabulary. I mean, I've heard of people doing that. I never knew it was called a spirit box session. Maybe it has like several different names. Okay, well, That's creepy. I would be creeped out if I was near a child who like said that. I've been around lots of children, but none of them have really. Actually, there was this one creepy thing that happened with a child last week. Um, I was on my trip, and there was a small child who was maybe of the age of 5 or 6. And the child, we were talking about making a time capsule. Me and a few other people. We were like, we should make a time capsule. That'd be so much fun. And then we were all explaining what we would each put in the time capsule. We asked the child, like, what would you put in it? And the child goes, I would probably cut off my finger and put it in there. We were all just kind of like, oh, you know, but I don't know. I guess kids will be kids. Anyways, this is called I keep feeling like I'm getting petted every single time I'm about to fall asleep. This has not been happening until like this past month. I also experience levitation feelings sometimes before I fall asleep, which is also new. I want it to stop. I also like wake up 3 times a night, and it's been happening for a month. That sounds like a sleep disorder or something. I don't know. I've heard that many people also experience similar things. Like, personally, I frequently, when I'm like about to fall asleep, I'll have like a vivid dream that I'm falling off a cliff, and then I'll wake up feeling like I'm falling through the air. Other people have agreed that, like, yeah, I get that too. So that's a normal thing, apparently. I don't know why. I would like to know the brain chemistry behind that, but yeah, I'm not sure. But it sounds like something like that. I don't know. Weird. Moving on. Okay, this one's called I Need Help Finding Out What Just Happened to Me. Okay, so right off the bat, we're not being very specific. I was showering late around 11:45. I'm pretty sure everyone was asleep in their room and all of that good stuff, you know? Okay. Then in the shower, I suddenly felt a cold sensation, like I got the chills, even though I was taking a warm shower. When I got out and turned the water off, I heard a scream as loud as day. Nobody was up, nobody else woke up to it, and I still have the chills right now in bed. I never really believed in paranormal ghosts and stuff, and even visited America's most haunted city in Georgia. I just don't feel safe right now. I have always felt uneasy in my house, like something is here with me. I'm scared. Please tell me this is all fake or don't lie. I just need y'all's opinions on this. Um, Doors? Oh, I see. Doors also sometimes close on their own. I'm just scared. I need your guys' opinion. Huh. Well, I don't know. I feel like sometimes weird stuff just happens, you know? Like, sometimes I'll just be sitting here and then I'll get a chill, and that's kind of just like what happens. The scream, though, is harder to explain, but maybe it was the shower. You know how like water, sometimes the water system makes like weird sounds. Like that happens to me sometimes. Like I'll turn the water on and there'll be like kind of a screeching noise. So maybe it was kind of that. Obviously, I don't think that's good. My apartment complex probably needs to do something about that, but eh, the shower works. So, um, but I don't know. Maybe it was something like that. Who knows? Let's see what the comments say. Someone said, probably your auric field sensing a lower spirit. If the scream was from inside the house, just keep the door shut and you should be fine. I I find it interesting how people are immediately jumping to the conclusion that yes, this is in fact paranormal. I guess this is on r/paranormal, so it makes sense that people would say that. But still, I feel like we really need to think through these things. Someone else said, you were probably listening in on another reality. In other words, dimension. Other realities like to occupy the same place just like other radio broadcasts do. Okay, I don't know about this. I feel like this is a stretch. I don't know. Again, I'm not religious, and I'm not like I don't really believe in paranormal stuff. I don't really know why I'm reading this, honestly, but some of this is just like I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a stretch, but you guys let me know what you think, because maybe I'm missing something here. All right, let's read one more. This one is called "The Lock Keeps Reappearing on the Gate Even After I Take It Off." This doesn't sound paranormal. This sounds like someone just messing with you. I'm gonna preface this by saying I never really believed in paranormal activity or of spirituality or even anything like that, but this has got me really scared. Oh, this has really got me scared. Okay, so I'm cat sitting for my friend's two cats while she's on holiday. She has a front gate around her whole house. The gate opens via the little thing you pull up, kind of like a door to a pool, if you know what I mean. Yes, I do know what you mean. But they put a lock, like a physical lock, in between the woods so people can't just walk in randomly. For me, since I don't have the key to this lock, they left it unlocked, but still on the fence. So to open the gate, I have to reach over the gate and fling it off. The gate's not too tall, so it wasn't super hard to do or anything, but it was annoying enough that after opening the gate, I tossed the lock on the floor. After tending to the kitties, I would leave the house and not place the lock back on, as it is extremely hard to do from the outside, and also just not necessary as the front door locks just fine, so I kept it on the ground. That was an extremely long sentence, alright. The next day, I come back and the lock is back on the door. I think it's a little strange as I distinctly remember tossing it onto the floor and my reasoning behind it, but who knows, maybe I was misremembering and actually put the lock back. No, don't gaslight yourself. Don't do that. When I left, I tossed the lock back to the same corner. Yesterday, I went back and the lock was back on the door. I was pretty scared. I don't know how this happened, like at all. I told one friend and went back earlier today. And well, the lock was back on the door 3 times. What's happening? Dude, I swear if the comments say, like, oh, it's definitely like a third dimension, someone else came from a third dimension and did that, like, I'm gonna lose my mind. But, maybe they have like a neighbor who's like worried about safety or something. I don't know. I would assume that it's just someone in the neighborhood concerned about safety who's just doing that as like a courtesy thing. But, I don't know. Let's see what the comments say. Yeah, the neighbors are probably doing it. They know how it's supposed they know how it's supposed up be and are fixing it. Okay, I can tell what they're trying to say here, but yeah, that's exactly what I said. Yeah, basically people are just saying like, sounds like someone's just putting it back on, which is like what I think. I don't know. I don't know if that really belongs in paranormal, but you never know. There is a lot of stuff that I don't know about the world. Um, so, and maybe, well, that's the end of the video. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you later. Bye.